And welcome back again to the Texas High School Coaches Association Convention here in Houston, Texas. Bobby Stotzenberger now joined by Richard Mendoza. He is the head coach of the Veterans Memorial Patriots of San Antonio in what I would consider the most patriotic region in all of Texas high school sports.
There's
you got all the Veterans Memorials.
That's right.
Are all 5A schools. They're all 5A D1 schools, and they're all in the same region. So somewhere along the way, the chances are in the playoffs you're going to run into a Veterans Memorial.
There was. Last year we looked at the playoff bracket, and I said, wouldn't that be interesting, all of us playing at the same time? We ran into Mission Vets. They're in the second round playoffs, really talented group. Boy, we learned a lot.
Landry Gilpin.
That guy is something special. He was tough. It wasn't just him. I tell you, their defense was great. Their offensive line did some good things, and Coach Gilpin did a great job with those guys. Learned a lot from that experience.
Well, you've done a great job, too. First-year program last year, first year of varsity, and you make the playoffs and you advance to the second round.
Yeah.
Well, is that would you say that exceeded expectations for first-year varsity, or did you expect to do that right away?
I think it exceeded the expectation, but, I don't think we really looked that far ahead. It was just, the old cliche of 1 week at a time, and if we were doing our job every week, then we put ourselves in a position to be successful, and our kids really believed in that, and we had great support from our community. It was a really exciting time, and the reason why it was exciting because nobody knew what to expect, and that's why you couldn't look too far ahead because we didn't know what to expect, and it was great, though. Our administration and our community did a great job for us, and we were glad we got to represent them in the playoffs.
Well, sometimes when you open a program, it's really strange how some schools do it a certain way, others do it another way. But you had an opportunity to actually be the head coach and coach these kids at the freshman level, at the JV level. So you kind of had a 2-year window to kind of bring them along before they advance to varsity. Do you think that now on the other side of the coin, you got schools like Shadow Creek. They throw them into the fire their first year. Hey, let's play varsity football our first year, and they go to the state championship. So I've seen the extremes on both sides, but I generally speaking, it seems like the way you guys did it makes the most sense in terms of having a chance to be successful early.
I think, when people have asked, I was on the staff at Wagner High School when we opened Wagner High School, and there's no right or wrong way to open the school. It's just different. Every circumstance is different wherever you're at. When we opened Veterans Memorial High School, there was Pflugerville Weiss, Leander Glenn was opening too. We were all kind of our own fraternity. We were playing each other. We kind of did a home and home that year, and every time we got to meet with another coach, we were kind of picking each other's brain a little bit and wanting to say, how's it going over there? And it's different in every community. It's different in every district. But I think having an opportunity to open with that 2 years of JV ball, it helped us as a staff develop the right relationships with our kids. And really it wasn't about the what, it was about the how. And we had a chance to really instill the how we want to do things at Veterans Memorial High School without having the added pressures and stresses of getting that W,
on Friday Night Lights.
And it allowed for them to develop maturity, and they certainly showed. The seniors last year, our first graduating class, they did an outstanding job of kind of passing the torch, and our junior class, or this year's senior class, has really taken a responsibility of continuing to compete at a high level.
All right, so take us back to first varsity game. You're going down to Floresville, which, when you go on the road in a one-horse town, that's a pretty big deal. Their fans are there, the peanut farmers, all that down in Floresville, and they want a piece of you.
Well,
this is your debut as a head coach and as a varsity program. Was that a fun experience or nerve-wracking experience?
It was all the above. Floresville was a great opportunity for us, number one, because Coach Roars does an outstanding job with his program. They have some good-looking kids, and they play hard. The other thing that I liked about going to Floresville was kind of a road trip. I mean, it's about an hour from Veterans Memorial High School, and it got us a chance to get on the road, but not necessarily get on a charter bus or whatnot, but we had to experience what it was like on Friday Night Lights, and Floresville definitely provided that atmosphere. Going in at halftime down 30, I'm kind of sitting there going, what in the world did I get myself into? But, our kids, they responded. I think we ended up losing that ball game by 8. To play, it was a tale of two halves, and our guys kind of figured, all right, now this ain't JV ball anymore. You got to come and play every play, and it was a real eye-opening experience for our kids, and I'm glad that they responded the way they did in the second half and had a chance to compete a little better.
Folks, Richard was the quarterback of the Judson Rockets 1996 state finalist team. You were coached by D.W. Rutledge. You're part of that big fraternity of Judson guys. And did you ever think, did you look up one day and Kitty Hawk and Kirby, which was the big rivalry that led to a lot of the Judson greatness over the years, and neither one of them feed Judson anymore. You have Kitty Hawk down at Veterans Memorial, and Charles Bruce gets the Kirby kids over at Wagner, and neither one of them go to Judson now. But
who'd have thought? Right?
Did you ever think that would happen?
No, I didn't. I'd never really thought about it from that perspective until you brought it up. But it really is. It says something about our Judson ISD community. I think we all, on certain Friday nights we got to compete against each other. But at the end of the day, Coach Bruce, Coach Williams, myself, we talk a lot. We're a part of that fraternity. You're right, of Judson ISD educational leaders, and we take a lot of pride in that. And we want to make sure that at the end of the day, we're all Judson ISD, and we're doing the right things based on the ways that we were taught by Coach Rutledge and Coach Arnold, and with Rodney coming over from Clemens brings a different perspective, and that's good. When I had an opportunity to go to East Central ISD, it was good for me to see how other school districts do it, and that was probably the best thing that happened to me as far as a career goes. But at the end of the day, we're all one team at Judson.
What's interesting about when you compare the three schools, Wagner and Judson and Veterans Memorial, and of course Judson being the bell cow for all those years and the only high school for most of the history of the district and the great success in football, when you go out into the community, you talk to people, and I don't know if you take pride in this or you say, am I not keeping up with the new trends or whatever, but everyone tells me that when you talk in the community, they said Richard Mendoza's Veterans Memorial Patriots, with the way they do things, looks more like the old Judson than Judson or Wagner do even.
I don't really pay attention to too much of that.
How much is your program like what DW tried to do at Judson all those years?
I will tell you that we try to model our program from our coaches down from what Coach Rutledge and his staff did, Coach Gibbons and Coach Rackley. Those guys, they come around, and the way I look at it is if Coach Gibbons or Coach Rutledge or Mr. Parsley came to watch a Patriots football game, I want them to be proud of the how we do things, and that's hustling on the field, hustling off the field. Those are the things that when I'm coaching, I would hope that it's kind of like your dad coming to watch a game, right? And what am I going to put out there? So from that standpoint, maybe. But like I said, there's a trickle of Judson in every school, because we were so fortunate to be around great men like that, and we want to keep that tradition going at all three schools.
Well, obviously D.W. Rutledge was a longtime head coach at Judson, coached you. Then he spent just as much time here at the Texas High School Coaches Association as the executive director, and he finally retired. And why I'm saying finally, DW, you could have done it as long as you wanted to. You did a great job, obviously, but he moved on and is in the great retirement life, I guess. Mm-hmm. But now, even here at the Coaches Association, it's different now. Joe Martin's now the leader, but there's always been a strong tie between Judson ISD and even before DW was the executive director, all the way back to Eddie Joseph days. Mm-hmm. What does this association mean to you as a coach anywhere in the state of Texas, but in particular Judson ISD?
I think you hit the nail on the head. There's a certain expectation at Judson ISD that our coaches are going to be a part of the Texas High School Coaches Association, but not just a part of it. We want to play an integral part in how we display our profession. It's one of the most exciting challenging and rewarding professions in the world, and we want to continue to advocate for that. As our predecessors did, and again, like you talked about, last night we had an opportunity to go to the Hall of Honor dinner and be able to see Coach Jeter there and all those guys, and it reminds you that you're a part of something that's way bigger than you.
Did Coach Rackley get emotional?
Yeah, Coach Rackley. It's pretty. He was pretty vintage, Coach Rackley. Right. And we wouldn't expect anything else. He's a passionate guy, and there's a part of all of those guys and all of us, and that goes on our staff and Charlie's staff over at Wagner and at Judson as well. There's just a lot of history, and we want to continue to represent the coaching community the right way, and the Texas High School Coach Association gives us the platform to do it. So we want to make sure that we're continuing to do that and build this. I tell you, I've been coming here for about 20 years, and the things that the association has done, it's outstanding. I've gone to the AFCA clinic, and it's really impressive to come to a convention like this and see the things that are going on and the networking that happens. So we're really proud to be a part of it.
Well, go win those state championships and then be the featured speaker for several years. That's all you got to do.
I got to worry about getting through our first week of practice, and then we'll go from there.
I'm sure you'll do well.
I hope so.
I have utmost confidence. You've always been a great guy, and you got a great program that you're building out there. We look forward to seeing how it evolves.
I appreciate that. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for taking the time.
All right, Richard Mendoza. He's the head coach of the Veterans Memorial Patriots of San Antonio. We'll be back with more here from the Texas High School Coaches Association Annual Convention in a moment here on TexasSportsProductions.com.